Hello and welcome to Featherlight Stories. One new story every Thursday and Sunday. Stories you can think about or talk about or feel inspired by, but stories that will always help you feel calm. My name is Cedric, and this is episode 6, The Spider's Quest. Have you ever taken a moment to observe the web woven by a spider? It's not only special because no other creature than the spider is able to craft such a complicated structure, but also because they are able to do it all by themselves, without taking a special course and without making it a group effort. A mistake we often make is calling a web a spider's home. The web is built to catch other animals so that the spider can eat them. It's not hanging in the corner of one of your house's rooms to live in, and each spider knows that if they patiently wait, motionless and in perfect silence next to their web, they will at some point see how an insect, a fly, a moth, or a mosquito crashes into their trap. When the unlucky insect realizes the spider's sticky silk is not going to let them leave, they flap their wings as fast as they can, but it's hopeless. The silk entangles them even more, and all they can do is wait for the spider to enter the web and eat them. Every spider knows this, and every spider, as soon as they are old and strong enough to build their own trap, will pick a corner somewhere and start weaving. Every spider except the one in this story. For this spider, whom the other spiders in the house called Webless, didn't understand how to do it. Webless had observed the other spiders, but by now their webs were finished and they were all sitting there, hidden, motionless, silent, waiting for something to enter their web. Webless became desperate and hungry. No web, no food. Asking the other spiders for help had been fruitless. "Shh! You're giving away my location. Get lost, Webless!" Something similar to this had been the answer given by all the other spiders in the house. Webless crawled around on the floor, eating little bits of moth and fly that fell down while the web-owning spiders high above were feasting. It wasn't a good life for a spider, and every time Webless ran from corner to corner, hoping to find some leftovers, there was always the great risk of being stepped on by a giant human foot or being grabbed by the yellow-eyed black cat that, luckily, spent most of its time outside the house. Webless tried to make a web each time another day passed without anything to eat, but every attempt was a failure. There were holes everywhere, or parts were sticking against each other. The shape was all wrong, or the threads that needed to keep the web in place didn't hold, and the whole thing ended up looking like someone had sneezed against the wall. Without any spider willing to help, and Webless's energy slowly dwindling, it was time to look for a new kind of solution, and Webless turned to other creatures for help. One of them was anxiously flying back and forth against a closed window. "What you're doing is pointless," said Webless. "If you help me make a web, I will show you how to go outside." "I'm a fly. What do I know about making webs?" I can tell you where the webs in this house are. You can fly close to them and tell me how they were built. The other spiders won't let me come close to them." "That's a good idea," said the fly, and it listened to Webblers and the locations of all the webs in the house. The fly took off and promised to return. Webblers waited, but the fly didn't return. Disappointed, Webblers looked at a little creature and how it was flying around a light bulb close to the ceiling. "What you're doing is pointless. If you help me build a web, I will switch off the light so that you can be free and go anywhere you want." "What are you talking about? Webs? I'm a moth. I know nothing about those things." "Promise me you will observe the webs in this house, once I told you where they are, and that you will come back to tell me about them." "Promised," said the moth, and Webblers switched off the light and told the moth about all the webs in the house. The moth took off and Webblers waited, but the moth didn't return. Sad and hurt by another broken promise, Webblers noticed a creature lying on the floor with its legs up in the air. "Are you all right?" Webblers asked. "No, I'm not. Can't you smell that? It's that horrible stench. It comes from that thing in the wall. It's killing me." Webblers took a deep breath and found the lemony scent quite pleasant. "I can switch that thing off if you promise me to help me build a web." "Anything you want. Please, make it stop." Webblers jumped against the button of the thing that released the smell, and the creature jumped up. "Oh, thank you. Now, what was that about that web?" "I need to have my own, but I don't know how to make it. I'm sure you don't know either, but I'll tell you where the webs in this house are, and you can go observe them from close by and tell me all about them." "A mosquito that builds webs. This will make a nice story, but sure, tell me where they are, and I'll take care of it." Webblers gave the instructions, and the mosquito took off. Webblers was patient enough to wait until sunrise, but didn't see the mosquito return. "I hate you all!" Webblers yelled out, but then, at that moment, saw how the fly returned. "Sorry it took me so long. Someone switched the light off. I couldn't see anything." "Did you observe the webs?" "I did, but let's start building. Did you pick a site for your web?" Webblers pointed a leg towards a corner. "Right there, my website." They both laughed, and for the first time in a long time, Webblers felt a little bit of happiness. Together, they moved towards the corner, where the moth joined them. "Sorry it took me a bit longer. I was trying to pick up that lemon scent, but it was gone, so I got a little lost. But I observed all the webs." "Great! Glad you're here. We're just about to get started." Webblers was spinning and spinning while the moth and fly gave instructions, when suddenly the mosquito joined them. "Sorry, took me some time. I never fly by daylight, so yeah, I had to be a bit careful." The four continued until the web was finished. It was a perfect one, and Webblers looked at it with pride glowing in all 8 eyes. "Well, that's that then," said the fly. "If you would please open that window for me now." Webblers was more than happy to do so, and thanked all 3 for their help before they flew through the open window. Finally, the time had come for Webblers, who now refused to answer to that name, to sit next to a brand new shiny web, hidden, silent, motionless. And Webblers waited. and waited and waited. But no fly came, no moth, no mosquito. So Webblers waited longer. The other spiders had left the house, but Webblers refused to give up. Until this day, that spider is still sitting there, hidden, silent, motionless.